All right, so as we pick up here at number 15, we are still performing the indicated operation and expressing in lowest terms. Well, we know by now that when we're dealing with fractions, which we are here, and we are adding and subtracting fractions, we need a common denominator. Well, we've been given a common denominator, so these last several, 12, 13, 14, now 15, we've all been given a common denominator, which is really nice of them because that takes out a lot of the work. So let's go ahead and move this common denominator over. So 9x squared plus 6xy plus 4y squared. And since we have a common denominator, we know that that allows us to perform the indicated operation with our numerator. So we have 27x cubed minus 8y cubed minus 8y cubed. And you might be tempted to stop here, but again, the directions say express in lowest terms. So let's go ahead and take this numerator, take this denominator, see if we can factor them, see if there are any things that can cancel out. So let's start with our numerator, 27x cubed minus 8y cubed. So here we are using some information that we learned in the previous chapter, which is factoring the sum and or difference of cubes, right? So let's go ahead and I'm going to rewrite the numerator here. So we have 27x cubed minus 8y cubed. And you might have a different way of factoring cubes, and if you get to the same answer, hey, it's all good. But when I'm factoring cubes, I always like to set up, and if you watched any of the videos from the previous playlist for the previous practice test, you'll know that I like to set up, when dealing with cubes, this little model. And the original sign was minus, so we'll put a minus. And then that becomes a binomial and a trinomial. All right. And I literally, when I was in intermediate algebra many years ago, this is how I would literally set up my cubes. And even to this day, I still, if I need to set up a cube factoring, I set it up just like this. And I like this because it helps me to keep my information organized. And so if you can fill out this line here, then you should be able to fill out the bottom line, which is really the answer, because this is the most difficult line to fill out. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, what number cubed gives me 27? Well, 3 cubed gives me 27. And what letter do I cube to get x cubed? Well, that's pretty easy, right? I have to cube x to get x cubed. Minus, there's our minus. And now, let's ask ourselves those same questions. What number do I cube to get 8? Well, I have to cube the number 2. 2 times 2 times 2. What letter do I cube to get y cubed? Well, again, that's not too bad. That's just a y. So now that we have this first line filled out, what's inside your parentheses, including this sign here, moves down into the binomial part of your answer. So 3x minus 2y, 2y. So our binomial is filled in. We still need to fill in the trinomial part of our answer. And so to fill in the first part of the trinomial, we're going to square what we have in the first part of the binomial. So what is 3x squared? Well, 3x squared is 9x squared. To fill in the middle term of our trinomial, we're going to multiply these two things together. So 3x times 2y. Well, 3 times 2 is 6. X times y is just xy. And finally, to get the last term of the trinomial, I square the last term of the binomial. So 2y squared, well, that gives me 4y squared. And now you might be saying, well, what about the signs? I don't see your signs. Well, when dealing with cubes, you have to remember this acronym, SOP, which stands for same, opposite, positive. And these, again, refer to your signs. Same means whatever was in the original problem followed you down, followed you down. So we've taken care of the same. Opposite means whatever you have here in the binomial, take the opposite of. So we have a minus, now we're going to put a plus. If this was a plus, we would have a minus here. And then positive means the last sign is always, no matter what, a plus. And so 27x cubed minus 8y cubed breaks down or factors into 3x minus 2y and 9x squared plus 6xy plus 4y squared over that denominator, 9x squared plus 6xy plus 4y squared. All right, so I said before we started working on the cube, why don't we go ahead and factor the numerator and denominator, but we can go ahead and stop right here. We don't have to go any farther because what do we notice about one of the factors from that cube? Well, it matches identically with our denominator, doesn't it? So we can go ahead and at this step, bam, bam, factor them out, get rid of them, divide them out, cancel them out, whatever you like to say. And what does that leave us with? Just 3x minus 2y. And that's it. We can't do anything with that. That is now in lowest terms. All right, so this one wasn't too bad, but you've really got to remember how to factor cubes. So make sure that you are refreshing yourself on what it is that we've learned, right? Because the farther you get in this course, and really with all math courses, right, you start to build and use what you learned in previous chapters. So you wouldn't be able to do this problem if we hadn't learned what we learned last chapter. So it's just important to stay on top of what it is that we've done so that you can make an easier time of understanding the current chapter. All right, so there was number 15. Let's go ahead and take a look at number 16.